Yaxel Lendeborg is considered by many to be the best prospect available in the transfer portal today. The skilled big out of UAB put up massive numbers, averaging 17.5 points a game, over 11 boards, and 4 assists. Today in our transfer portal spotlight, we're going to be breaking down the game film from last year, seeing where he excels, and talking about what he's going to bring to the table for his new school. So let's get ready to jump into the film. I really want to start this off just by talking about him and his abilities around the rim. He made a living there last year. So when you look at the overall statistics on it, first and foremost, he got up 250-ish shots at the rim and put up 341 points. Like, that's relentless. He was particularly efficient. He shot 66.5%, so right at 67% around the rim. Which is really, really good considering the amount of time that he spent there and the amount of attempts that he got up. What I like a ton about this as well is when you see these clips, he's getting to the rim in a variety of ways. He's not just a guy that's going to have to rely on, beating his man off the dribble to get there. He crashes the offensive glass very hard. He follows up his miss more often than it feels like the opponent gets the rebound. In transition, he's a blur down the court. He's really hard to defend. He can get to the rim athletically as well. But I think he's very crafty. So, I'll show some dunks here in a minute. But just from a ability to finish perspective, he uses his body well. He doesn't shy away from contact. He finds the correct space. So when you look at it off of a roll as well, he's able to roll to the basket, find that space, and sit down where he's able to get an opening. So he's, just someone who can get to the rim in a variety of ways, and it's going to suit him well wherever he ends up at his next stop. I also did want to make sure to include some of these clips of him finishing, at the rim, above the rim. He's someone who's quick off of his feet. Again, he can go through contact on the fast break. He can pull away and throw one down. I just think it highlights his ability to finish in a variety of ways as well. Next, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about his abilities on the perimeter. So I think this is what starts to separate him as a truly borderline great and dynamic player. So when you put as much pressure on teams as he does around the rim, they're going to start to cheat that, and you have to have a counter, and luckily for him, he does. On the statistics side of things, he was a good shooter, good enough to keep them very honest. I think he shot around 36% on threes on the catch and shoot, on a decent amount of attempts, probably about 2 a game. But, that's got to be scary when you're a defender, when you're guarding a guy who can get to the rim the way he does, who can post you up, who can out-physical you. And then you realize, oh crap, this guy can shoot as well. That's dangerous. That makes you extremely tough to guard. It makes teams make decisions on who they're going to have to try and guard you with. Like, do they try to put a big on you to limit you at the rim but might not be able to stick on the perimeter, or do they go with a guard? It's going to create a matchup nightmare for whatever power conference he ends up in. The last part of his offensive game I want to touch on is his ability to act as a ball handler. So when you look at him for UAB last year, he led the team in assists with 155. We talked about it earlier. He averaged 4.5 assists per game. What I like about him is the ways, that he makes passes. He can be a one-more passer when he's popping out on the perimeter. He always has an eye for the open man when he's driving to the basket and is able to make an intelligent play. He's thrown some really high-level lobs. When someone's cutting down the lane, he leaves his feet to make passes, but he already knows what he's doing before he does it, so that's not a big deal. I think in transition, he's really dangerous as well. The ball seems to end up in his hands, whether through a rebound or a steal or a block, which we'll talk some more on later. But he is just someone who, as a big, it just continues to feed into the fact of he's so tough to guard, because other bigs aren't going to be able to stick with him and make life hard. So I love this part of his game. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, let's talk about his ability to block shots. He blocks shots on all levels of the defense, which I love. In transition, he is definitely somebody who can chase down with the best of them. At the rim, he's really skilled at walling up, adjusting his hand position kind of at the finish to get a block without fouling. He also has a really good knack of of getting the ball back after he blocks the shot. You see a lot of guys throw stuff into the crowd, which is great for fans, not so great for your defensive metrics sometimes. But he's able to get the ball and go the other way. Also coming off pick and rolls or pick and pops, or even just helping on a guy coming off of a screen, he's able to block or deflect many of these jump shots that guys are taking. So he's somebody that's going to be feared as a defender as well as an offensive player, and that separates him when you talk about guys in the transfer portal. So he's also somebody that just has extremely active hands and always finds a way to come up with the ball. So you'll see in a lot of these clips, like a ball might ricochet or carry him off somebody else. He is just in the right spot at the right time, and that's just a valuable skill. It's not something you can really teach to guys all that much. But he's also extremely intelligent with how he plays defense and when he chooses to either dig down, use his hands to make a play. He's getting steals on ball, off ball, in help, off of rebounds. He's just kind of gritty and attacks the ball when he has the opportunity to do so. So again, this is just making him more dynamic of a player, bringing more to the table. From a steals and blocks perspective, I doubt there's going to be many Power 5 players that average as many as he will combined. So it just is a no-brainer as to why he's such a good player. So let's put a bow on all of this. What are my final thoughts on it? Well, I don't think that there is a better all-around player available in the transfer portal right now. He impacts the game in all phases. He's really a true do-it-all type of player, and that's just invaluable. When you look at the game of college basketball, you see what Cooper Flagg is doing with Duke. You see what other guys like this have done with high caliber national championship contending teams. And I think that's what he's going to bring to the table for his next stop. And because of that, it's really not at all surprising that he has a ton of attention coming his way. So the teams that are after him right now, Kentucky has offered, Arkansas is there, Auburn, Michigan, Alabama, Ole Miss, and others. It's a situation where the who's who of college basketball is after this kid. I think for me, Kentucky makes a ton of sense with how they've utilized players. I think it fits into what they're trying to do. Alabama, again, would make a ton of sense. John Calipari at Arkansas certainly knows how to get players to the NBA. You could also see him go to the NBA right now. I know he's entered the draft, but has maintained his eligibility, so we'll see where he goes. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for being a part of today's video. Hope you were able to take something away from it. Let me know, drop a comment, if you thought I was right on the money or if there were some areas where maybe my opinion wasn't exactly correct in your view. But either way, feel free to suggest another player to do next. We'll have more of these videos coming out, and I'll see you on the next one.